Generation Z's purchasing power is changing the retail landscape. The generation born between 1997 and 2012 makes up 25% of our world's population, and their spending power is projected to grow to $12 trillion globally by 2030. NeilsenIQ collaborated with World Data Lab to issue the first of its kind comprehensive spending report called Spend Z. Joining me now for an exclusive interview and to weigh in on the report is Marta Bowles, who is the NeilsenIQ Chief Communications Officer and Head of Marketing in North America. Marta, great to have you on here with us. All right, you got to break down some of this data that you were able to compile as part of this report, this Spend Z, as it's so aptly titled here. What was the biggest finding that jumped out to you?
Well, I just think it's going to be both, and you kind of highlighted the numbers, it's going to be not only the largest generation, but it's also going to be the wealthiest. And so, and it's also going to be, the spend is also shifting into emerging markets. Obviously, a lot of the spend will come from Europe and North America, but also growing as APAC. And when you see the population growth in Sub-Saharan Africa, Middle East, North Africa, and LATAM, all these regions are going to be very much accelerating and spending. And what's happening now is that when you look at, and I think the most prolific or most significant thing that we noticed is, as we did our research, was that Gen Z is ahead of other generations for where they were. So for example, a 25-year-old is spending exponentially more than what a Gen Xer was spending. And so that only is going to increase over time. As you said, it's projected to be a 12 trillion spending. Gen Z will contribute 12 trillion to spending by 2030.
Look, I can't wait for it. If there's anything I've learned about Gen Z, it's, especially as a millennial, it's not to come for Gen Z. I don't want the smoke. I just want to encourage them even more. But at the end of the day, they got range here. And it seems like, as our newsroom was talking about it, even before the show and before this segment, it's all about the vibes. I mean, they love facial skincare, fruit snacks. I mean, who doesn't? But where's the retail environment dramatically going to shift as a result of what the must-have products are?
Well, when you think about it, what's kind of insane, and I'll talk about 81% of TikTok's dollar sales are supposed to come from both health and beauty. And when you think about fruit snacks, facial care, probiotics, probiotics really are something that Gen Z is already tuned into. Gut health is something that they're very tuned into. And one of the things that's really driving all of this is the fact that this is a generation that is the first digitally native generation. And what do I mean by that? They're used to operating in an omni-channel environment. They expect brands to be omnipresent. And so for them, they're always looking for information. They may start researching something on social or online, but they go into stores to complete their purchases. So when you think about probiotics and fruit snacks and alcohol, they're obviously those that are legally able to drink, of course, they're very involved. And one of the things that this omni-channel behavior is driving is this look for information. They are probably seeking for more information wherever they are. And that's why values play such a strong value, and purpose plays such a strong value for this generation.
How do you think this also will impact their discretionary spending once they get into peak earnings years?
Well, it will only increase because they will have a lot of spending power. They're already spending more than other generations did. And so, and obviously, as we talk about things like healthcare and wellness and beauty, one of the stats that was interesting is 50% of Gen Z have used a fitness or an exercise app. So they're therefore spending more and more. And it's interesting now that I see what's on the screen about private label products. 67% of Gen Z feels that private label products are just as good as national brands. So they're driving those purchase patterns. They're going to be influencing. And what they're looking for is, again, quality and values. And the other piece that really drives, one of the aspects of what really drives when you were showing the fruit snacks and probiotics, are the importance of attributes. Really understanding things like clean, environmentally friendly. And so they're very driven and motivated by those different attributes, gluten-free, that really drive performance and increase incrementality and unlock growth for brands and for retailers. And that's one of the areas where private label has grown, because they've used some of those attributes to tap into unmet consumer needs.